Howdy, it's Matt, and in this episode, it's a time lapse, and it's a time lapse of the flying session which me and Andrew had at Bratton camp last week. And what an amazing location! I genuinely mean that. It couldn't be not for scenery. And at the beginning of the day, the wind wasn't that strong. So as you can see on the video footage right now, the clouds are really shifting. But look at the grass in front. Remember that grass compared to later on. And also that was the day where I went off and FPV'd the White Horse of Westbury, which was just unbelievable. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll put a link to it in the top right hand corner. Now, with that said, I think when I went and FPV'd the White Horse, now coming back and looking at the video footage, to be honest, I could have done an awful lot better to give a better video experience for you. So yeah, I will be going back. Hopefully I catch it on a slightly calmer day. That day when I flew, the wind was actually coming over the hill, so I was getting knocked around quite a bit, to say the least. But I've kind of already worked out my pattern for the next time. Yeah, absolutely fantastic location. So obviously there wasn't any wind over on the left-hand side. It was coming towards us, so the main slope wasn't in active. But this massive, great big bowl was eventually active. And yeah, I might sound like a bit of an old man, or you can't actually see me on the video. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there was very, very little wind when we got there, and I flew my Hornet FPV wing around, and I actually flew that whole bowl. Now, sorry, no DVR footage for that. It was just one of those flights which I just kept to myself, to be honest. It was absolutely amazing, but just imagine down there in that bowl, flying the whole bowl, and then coming up, and then turning around, and then going back down, and there was a big V ridge off to the right hand side. In fact, next time I'll get some FPV footage of me chasing around in the landmarks which are there. Now, I did mention me being a bit of an old man. I will fully admit that there is a deck chair just slightly off screen, and I sat there because it was pretty cold that day, to be fair. And I sat there with my hat on, my hoodie on, my coat on, and I wrapped the black tarpaulin up over my knees to keep the wind down. And I had about a 30-40 minute flight, or something like that, in that kind of range, with the BFG glider. Now, it's not a particularly aerobatic model by any shape or by any stretch of the imagination. But I did get it cheap, and I did fully intend to fully overpower it. But with that said, I went and flew it around, and I just pottered around the sky for, like I said, like 30-40 minutes worth, just on one single battery. And it was just really, really good fun to fly. And I'm now, unbelievably, I'm in two minds. Should I overpower it or not? Because in its current form, on a nice, relatively calm day with a little bit of lift, and I mean only a little bit of lift, it was really tough trying to get stuff to fly, is that she did so well. It was just so enjoyable, and I really just frankly enjoyed sat there in the deck chair and pottering around, noodling in the sky. It was really, really good fun. Now, on to some of the other models which I flew that day. And by the way, you will meet these models in the models which you can buy for underneath 50 quid in that mini series. I think I'll put all these slope soaring wings together because they were all cheap and they were all really, really good fun. Now, the models which I took were the Weasel XP, which is the slightly smaller one, which you'll see. Oh, battery's charged, by the way, which you'll see flying later on in this time lapse. Brilliant little model. Very, very twitchy on the elevator. I mean, like scarily twitchy on the elevator. I've had to put it down to like 60% movement or less. What else did I take? I took the Zach Combat, which I finally killed, as in I broke the left wing servo, and really did kill the gears in the metal gear servo on the right hand wing. On a really bad inverted landing. The Zach Speed I also took as well. I ploughed that into a fence. I had loads of fun with it basically. It does pick up speed quite well. You do have to load her up with quite a bit of lead to get the nose to come down and for her to really pick up lots and lots of speed. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what I took. And I flew them all, and I flew them, well, there's me going down the hill actually, to my limits and beyond. And also this bowl where we were flying over down at Bratton camp was absolutely amazing because there was such a deep cavern. I don't know how to explain it. It's such a deep, sharp off point. Is that I've been keeping away from doing loops over at Maze Knoll, where we normally fly. And the reason why I've been keeping away from loops is because the models do tend to come right back to the flight line. And whereas at this site, I was able to get all the models out to a very decent distance with plenty left, and then do some big loops. And by the end of the day, and we, as you can tell by the length of this video, we were there for a very long period of time. It was pretty much most of the day. Oh, I've obviously got my car stuck as well. So if you saw the photo on Facebook, yeah, I did manage to get my car stuck on an angle and it took it like another hour, 2 hours to get home, which was not fun, but just part of the adventure. Now, with that said, yeah, it was just absolutely brilliant. By the end of the day, I managed to completely lick loops on there, and then also muck around with some inverted stuff to go into a loop, out of a loop, and back in again as well. I managed to have, what's the word which I'm looking for? Compound maneuvers on the slope pretty much sorted. So instead of just flying off to the right, do a spin, fly off to the left, do a spin, and then muck around in the middle, what I was able to practice today, because it was only just me and Andrew and the slope, is that I was able to really put some time and invest some effort into loops, and I can't wait to show you these at a later date, because yeah, now in my head I've kind of got it licked. I know how each of the three models react to being looped, and also in inverted loops as well. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to wrap up now. We only get a few patches of sun that day, and it was bitterly cold. But anyway, for myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll see you soon. Cheerios!